Speaking of, console owners, so if you own a PlayStation console, whether it's PS3 or PS4 console, you should be concerned in terms of a software, I won't say glitch, but a software that can kill your consoles. And according to the article here in arstechnica.com, it mentions the issue lurking in the older PlayStation is the internal timing system that threatens the eventuality of every PS3 and PS4 games downloaded, purchased, unplayable, which is, kind of surprising when I first heard the news. So the issue here, it's not a matter of if it will happen, it's a matter of when it will happen. So as the years go, especially for PS3 consoles, I have one. So in the not too distant future, if this problem persists, you cannot use your consoles anymore here. So let's see the article here. There you go. So as mentioned, so what is this all about? How can you break your console here? Now, it mentions it pertains to a firmware issue, ticking firmware time bomb, so to speak. And it has been known for some time from other people, and this has only grown its attention since the Sony's recent announcement to shut down their PlayStation network for the PS3, PSP, as well as Vita games there. So obviously, shutting down the PlayStation network is not a big issue, especially for players who already bought the game. Existing players who already bought, you can re-download it with no issue and so forth. But the eventual shutdown of PSN servers is a totally different issue, because eventually when the servers shut down, how can you access still the games? Which is, I thought they were trying to encourage people to buy games online and so forth. So one would wonder what's the main problem here, and it all stems from the CMOS battery, which is inside your console. So it's a battery that keeps track of time, in a sense. Yeah, keeps track of the current time, even if when it's unplugged. So it's similar to how your watch works. So it keeps on ticking whether you're using it or not. Now, how can this affect your console? Now, obviously, if it runs out, you remove it, you replace, and so forth, it raises an internal issue to the server's firmware, so that indicating that the clock is out of sync and so forth. So you have to update it. So how do you update it? You have to connect to your PlayStation network so that it can confirm the correct time and verify and validate it. Now, for PS3 consoles, as mentioned, the online check happens when you play a game downloaded from the PlayStation Store. Now, for the PS4 console owners, if you try to play retail games installed from a disc, this has to be checked or performed at least once, even if the CMOS battery is replaced with a new fresh one, just to reconfirm the clock consistency. Okay. Now, for the PS3 timer, as mentioned, this is so that it can enforce a time limit of sorts, so that it places a time limit on digital purchase that you might have bought in the past. And for PS4, the timing check is apparently for security for your PlayStation Network trophies. So it prevents players from cheating, in a sense, or pretending to get trophies earlier than they expected. So how can this be an issue if it's just a safety precaution for the network, right? As I mentioned, eventually when your console has been in use for 10-20 years, the battery will die out. So question is, when that dies out and the Sony, the company, turns off or shuts down their servers, so the timing check that we're talking about earlier, you will not be able to do that anymore. Meaning, the consoles that you own right now can be moot or null and void, or a big paperweight, so to speak. Now, obviously, Sony could just simply solve this problem by updating the firmware and removing that feature so that it won't affect the console's long-term usage, right? So that no harm done. But and according to article, which is got me concerned the whole time, is they mentioned that Sony has not publicly indicated of doing anything about it in the foreseeable future. So that got me concerned, in a sense that, so buying your games is not enough. being a loyal gamer, to your platform, and you're putting us in a pickle rather than fixing it. Hopefully they can fix it right away, sooner rather than later here. And who knows? Anyway.